The number on the front of that tub is the most honest lie in the store. 25 grams, it says. Big, silver, printed over a photo of a man who has never once been tired. It isn't lying about the 25 grams, it's lying about the word next to it, protein. Because your body doesn't read labels, it reads amino acids. 9 of them it cannot make itself, and it throws away whatever doesn't fit, the way a builder throws away bricks that don't match. You paid for 25 grams. Some of these sources hand your muscle 9, some hand it 0. So we're not ranking these by the number on the front. We're ranking them by the only question that number never answers. Not how much protein is in it, how much of it survives the trip from your mouth to your muscle, and what it quietly charges you on the way. Bioavailability has a real score. It's called DIAAS. Remember those letters. They're about to ruin some of your favorite foods. 9 levels.
Veg and non-veg on the same ladder. No mercy for either side. We start at the bottom, where the number lies the loudest. Level 1. Collagen. Protein on the label, 90 grams per 100. Usable score for building muscle, effectively 0. You bought it because an ad said glowing skin, strong joints, 20 grams of protein. You stir it into your coffee and feel productive. Here's what nobody put on the back. Collagen is missing tryptophan entirely, one of the 9 your body can't skip. And it's so low in the others that for the job of building a single fiber of skeletal muscle, it scores at the very bottom of every scale we have. It has a protein number on the front, and not 1 gram of it can build the muscle you bought it for. And that's legal. The word protein is a chemistry term. The label is using it the way a casino uses the word free. You should feel cheated. Mostly you feel confused, which is exactly the margin the whole industry lives in. Write the number down.
You'll watch it curdle 9 times. Level 2. Grains and gluten. Protein per 100 grams, 13 for wheat, 25 for seitan. Usable score around 0.4, still failing. This is the vegan bodybuilder's darling, seitan. Wheat meat, chewy, browns like a steak, absorbs any sauce you throw at it. And it is genuinely food. But every grain on Earth shares one flaw. It runs out of lysine. Lysine is the limiting amino acid, and a protein is only as complete as its scarcest brick. You can eat a mountain of wheat, and your body still builds like it only got a handful, because the moment the lysine runs out, construction stops. Rice is the same story. High in one gap, empty in another. Hold that thought. Rice's specific weakness is going to matter more than any single food on this list. It doesn't matter yet. It will. Grains fill the plate. They rarely finish the job alone. That's not an insult. It's an instruction.
Level 3. Legumes. Dal, rajma, chana. Protein per 100. 8 to 9 cooked, 25 dry. Usable score alone, 0.5 to 0.7. The tax is invisible and it's inside the bean. This is the cheapest real protein a human being can buy. Feeds half the planet. Grows in poor soil. Fixes its own nitrogen. Costs a fraction of anything with a face. If protein were priced fairly, this is what the tub would be made of. But the bean fights back. Raw legumes carry anti-nutrients, phytates, lectins, trypsin inhibitors, molecules that grab minerals and jam the very enzymes trying to digest the protein. The plant built them to survive being eaten. Soaking and a hard boil disarm most of them, which is why your grandmother soaked the rajma overnight without knowing a single word of biochemistry. She wasn't being traditional, she was running a lab. And the gap in the bean? Legumes run low on methionine. Grains run low on lysine. 2 failures, pointing in opposite directions. Keep that loaded.
If you've counted every gram this far, letters DIAAS mean something to you now that they didn't 10 minutes ago. This channel was built for the person you're becoming. Level 4 is where the plant kingdom finally fights back. Level 4. Soy. Protein per 100. 36 in the flour, 52 in isolate. Usable score around 0.9, the highest a plant has ever posted. Soy is the one plant that shows up to the fight with all 9 amino acids and no fatal gap. Tofu, tempeh, edamame, soy isolate. Complete protein, no animal required. On paper, it walks with chicken. And this is the level where you've been trained to flinch. Estrogen, it'll make you soft. That fear is built on isoflavones, plant compounds that look like estrogen to a microscope and behave almost nothing like it in a human male at normal intake. The studies that scared everyone were case reports of men drinking cartoonish amounts daily. At the doses a real person eats, the panic doesn't hold.
The reality tax on soy isn't your hormones. It's that you were taught to fear the best plant protein on the board by people selling you the animal version. Soy is where veg can't build muscle quietly dies. Now watch the other side of the ladder answer. Level 5, red meat. Beef, mutton, pork. Protein per 100, around 26. Usable score, 1.1. And now the numbers stop failing and start winning. Complete protein, every brick present, plus the two things plants guard like treasure. Heme iron your body actually absorbs, and B12 you cannot get from a leaf. For raw construction, red meat is a finished blueprint. This is the food that built armies. But this is the first level where the tax is written in your own body. Saturated fat rides along. And the World Health Organization put processed meat, the bacon, the sausage, the salami, in Group 1, the same certainty bracket as tobacco smoke for causing cancer. Red meat itself sits one rung below, probably.
Then there's the planet's invoice. No protein on this list costs more land, water, and carbon per gram. Red meat builds you fast. It just never stops sending bills.
Level 6, poultry and fish. Chicken breast, 31 grams per 100, almost no fat, usable score around 1.0. Fish, complete protein, plus the omega-3s your heart and brain are quietly begging for. This is the bodybuilder's floor for a reason. Chicken is complete, lean, cheap per gram, and boring enough to eat twice a day for a decade. And boring is a superpower when your goal is a number you hit every single day. Fish does everything chicken does and brings fats that actually lower the risk red meat raised. The tax splits. Chicken's cost is the farm you don't see, the antibiotics, the conditions, the sameness that makes people quit. Fish's cost is the water it swam in. Mercury stacks up in the big predators, king mackerel, shark, large tuna, and microplastics now ride along in almost all of it. The cleaner the ocean, the cleaner your protein. That's not a nutrition fact. That's a mirror. Level 7, dairy. Milk, paneer, curd, cheese. Protein per 100, 8 in milk, 18 in paneer.
Usable score 1.1 to 1.4, and that upper number is the highest on this entire list. Here's the trick the West missed. Dairy is the vegetarian's non-veg. A glass of milk carries two proteins, whey, fast and explosive, and casein, slow and steady, a protein that gels in your stomach and drip feeds amino acids for hours. Paneer is casein you can chew. This is how a lifelong vegetarian in this country built a working body for 3,000 years without ever touching a supplement. The tax is simple and honest. Lactose. A huge share of adults on Earth stop making the enzyme to digest it, and dairy turns from fuel into a bad afternoon. Curd fixes most of that. The bacteria eat the lactose for you before you ever do. 2 levels left. Both of them are about to make the whole ladder look like a trick, because it was. Level 8, egg. Protein per 100, 13. Usable score, 1.1. And a biological value so close to perfect that science doesn't rank the egg against a standard. The egg is the standard. Every other protein on this list is graded against this one. One egg is complete, balanced, absurdly cheap, and shaped so perfectly to human need that the whole field of protein science uses it as the ruler. For decades, you were told to fear the yolk, cholesterol. That fear collapsed too. For most people, the cholesterol you eat barely moves the cholesterol in your blood. They made you throw away the best half of the most perfect protein on the planet. And you did it, because it was printed on a chart. The egg has almost no tax, which is exactly why it doesn't get a silver tub and a man who's never tired. You can't mark it up.
Level 9, whey isolate. Protein per 100, 90. Usable score, over 1.1. Fastest absorbing protein known and loaded with leucine, the one amino acid that flips the actual switch for muscle growth, and you need roughly 3 grams of it in a sitting to throw that switch. 1 scoop clears it easily. This is the top of the ladder, the king, the number on the front of the tub we started with. You should feel like you climbed 9 levels in one, like you finally found the best one. Instead, now that you know what DIAS is, Now that you've watched it, you feel something colder. Because whey is a byproduct. It's the liquid left over when they make cheese. For a century, it was drained into rivers as waste. Someone dried the trash, printed 25 grams on it, put a tired man's abs behind the number, and sold you the leftovers of the paneer from level 7 at 40 times the price. The number never lied. It just never once was on your side. The number.
So here's the ranking, honestly. Egg, dairy, and whey at the top for pure usable quality. Fish, poultry, red meat right behind. Soy leading the plants, then legumes, then grains, with collagen sitting at the bottom pretending to be food. And it's all a magic trick. Because you ranked single sources. Nobody eats a single source. Remember rice, starving for lysine. Remember dal, starving for methionine. Two broken proteins, gaps pointing in opposite directions. Put them on the same plate and each one fills the exact hole the other one has. Rice and dal, the cheapest plate in the country, the one that fed a civilization, combines into a complete protein that shoots straight up the ladder you just watched. No tub, no isolate, no tired man. The score was never the point. Total protein across your whole day beats the quality of any single scoop. Hit your grams, spread them out, combine your plants, and the ranking you just sat through stops being a ranking and starts being a menu.
The industry didn't lie to you about protein. It just made sure you were staring at a number on a tub instead of the plate your grandmother already solved. The supplement was never the villain. The villain was the belief that the answer had to be expensive. Veg versus non-veg was never the real fight. The real fight was you versus a number printed in silver, and you just want it. That tub still says 25 grams. It's still true. It's just the only innocent thing left on the shelf. Everything else on that label was for someone who was never you. Funny thing is, that plate was never about grams. It was about knowing what was already in front of you and what it could become. That's the whole quiet idea behind the kitchen tool I keep going back to. You tell it how you want to feel, energy, calm, comfort, or just show it what's on the counter, and it builds a real recipe around what you already own, then tells you the wild history behind every ingredient in it.
Cook with intention instead of a label. The link's below if your kitchen's holding more answers than you thought.